view of time where it's like almost like circular, and there's I've forgotten the specific ethnic group, but there's a specific ethnic group in Southern Africa that kind of talks about that we're actually approaching the past. Like the past isn't behind us, we're actually kind of like approaching it. So I forgot my question now because I'm geeking out over that. Let me revisit what my question is. Yes, I want to talk about just that in terms of your work, like myth and memory and history, and how you weave all of those kind of like the past, the present, the future into your work, because it's just so fascinating.
No, thank you. That's such a great question. Firstly, I'm really obsessed about African history because I think there is so much there that is empowering and incredible that we're not really getting to see. With my first novel, Butterfly Fish, I wrote about the Benin Kingdom, 18th century Kingdom of Benin. I reimagined that. So my family are from Benin, so I feel like there's a direct connection there. And when I was a kid, my father was always talking about the Benin Kingdom and how incredible it was, you know, the artifacts, the culture, the fact that the architecture was insane for that time. And it kind of stayed with me. So during the periods where I really struggled, like in my teens and in my 20s, I was holding on to this history. And I'm really grateful to my father for that. You know what you said about approaching the part, that is uncanny. It's actually made the hairs on my arm stand up, because that's literally what I was doing with Butterfly Fish. I was like approaching the past. I was approaching 18th century Kingdom of Benin. Now, why didn't I write about modern Benin? Something about that history really spoke to me. So I wanted to recreate it for this novel, and it was coming to me in fragments, you know, writing about Cape Verde, the spiritual element, the sort of naturalistic element, the way the landscape looked and spoke to me. It felt really, really important to incorporate all of that as part of the narrative and sort of, you know, part of the aesthetic of the work. And it's really interesting with writing, like there's only so much you can say, because you know how it is, there's a magic that occurs. It's almost like a transcendent space, and you're just lucky enough to be like the vessel to tell the story. So once I came up with the characters and I knew what the idea was and I really sat with it, and I felt like I was carrying these worlds, you know, it was just about being in the space to tell their stories, you know, and let the voices speak for themselves. But yeah, this is the second book that I've sort of focused on, you know, African history and spiritualism and travel and multiple dimensions and, you know, wounds and the body as a portal, the body as like a regenerative space, the body as a transformative space, ideas around utopia and what that can look like and feel like, how you can create utopias for yourselves. So there's so much in the book, you know, I hope everyone picks up a copy, a little bit of marketing there, there's so much there. But yeah, essentially for me it's really exciting to be able to write about African histories and present it in a way that is like liberating and exciting and interesting, like not problematic, complex, you know, where of course you're presenting like the traumas and the pain, because otherwise that wouldn't be real life. But you're also presenting the beauty and the joy and the power of, you know, Black consciousness and Black spirituality, and the history behind it. And yeah, for me it was just such a joy to kind of, yeah, try to play and incorporate all of those things. Sorry, that was a really long response.
No, this is what we're here for. We're here for the...
And then we had one particular feedback say that they didn't think I was writing about Black experiences in an authentic enough way, and that, I know the audacity, the actual goal, and that they thought the writing was too strange. So I really didn't know what to do with that feedback, and I remember being quite upset at the time, because you know how it is, you work really hard, draft after draft, and then you kind of like close your eyes and hope someone picks it up. So to get that feedback was really disappointing. But I sat with it for a bit, and then my response was, okay, this is actually just a lack of imagination on that individual's path. You know, they don't understand the nuances of the Black experience, and actually, if they read widely enough, my writing would make absolute sense to them. You know, you know, publishing professionals have the imagination to, champion or publish somebody like a Margaret Atwood's, and I love Margaret Atwood's work, and she's been very supportive of me, but it's really interesting who is given, the credit and the space to be supported in a particular way. So that happened, and that was hard, and the way we overcame that was just to keep sending the work out, and then I was very lucky because Jacaranda Books, who is running